Hi, welcome to a short walkthrough of the Connect, Learn Smart, Achieve modules. These are adaptive study tools that will give you time practicing important concepts, specifically about grammar and language. The only way to really get better with your grammar and language is to practice it, and that's what these modules will do. Notice next to each module's name there is a time estimate. This is the average amount of time it has taken students in the past to complete these modules. You may take a shorter amount of time or a longer amount of time, depending on how you answer the questions. Once you click into a module, you'll come to this home page for Achieve. You might want to take a moment to look through the different boxes at the bottom. These will give you information about the tool and how it works. When you're ready to start the module, click Start. The next page you'll see asks you to think about your study schedule for this module. Keep in mind the average amount of time that it took for other students and plan your study time accordingly. It's not recommended for you to spend too long working on these modules in one sitting. If you sit there for a really long time working on this, you'll get to the point where you're not really absorbing it anymore, you're just clicking to get through. So make sure that you choose an amount of time to study that will maximize what you can learn. The next page you'll see is the first page of the module. On the left, you'll see a dashboard that will show you how far along you are on this particular module and when it's due. Next, in the center, you'll see the objectives for this particular assignment. Have a look at the objectives. Those are the things you're going to be answering questions about in just a moment. When you're ready, click Learn. The modules are split up into 3 parts: Tune In, Focus, and Practice. Think of Tune In like the pre-test. Focus is the part where you read some materials based on how you did on Tune In, and Practice is like a post-test. Beneath the surface of these modules, a complicated algorithm is running. Every click you make while you're working on the module goes into this algorithm, which is figuring out what information you already have a good handle on and which information you need more practice with. That's what it means by adaptive. Each module adapts to you and where you need to spend the most time studying. For each question, you'll be asked to choose an answer for the question and then also one of these confidence buttons. Make sure you choose the confidence buttons honestly, because your confidence about what you know, along with your accuracy, is what goes into the algorithm so that it can figure out how to adapt to you and make this study time the most beneficial time for you. Now we're finished with the Tune-in phase and we're in the focus phase. In this phase, you'll read material based on the kinds of questions you missed. Once you've reviewed all of the focus materials, you'll come to the practice phase. This is the last phase of the module where you will now be asked questions of increasing difficulty, all based on the same objectives that you were having trouble with before. The more accurately you answer these questions, the faster you'll get done with this phase. You can always check the progress of where you are by looking at these bars across the top. When you're almost done, it's a really good practice to come over 2 more blocks and click on the My Reports link. Here in the reports, you can look at your topic scores, your most challenging learning objectives, the actual questions you missed, and the self-assessment, which compares your accuracy with your confidence. Click on the self-assessment and take a look at the data. If you have a high percentage in the top one, that means you answered the questions correctly and had a high confidence. Good news. If you have a high percentage in the second one, that means you said, "I don't know it," and you got it wrong. That's still pretty good news. You didn't know the information, but you know that you don't know it, so now you know that you need to practice that more. In the third row, if you have a high percentage, that means you know the material, but you kept saying, "I don't know it." That means you need to just build your confidence a little bit. Last, this is a red flag if you have higher than 25%. What this means is you said, "I know it," but you got it wrong. So if you have a high percentage here, that means you think you know more than you actually do, and you really need to practice on this a little bit more. At any point during the session, you can click on the Back to Connect Home and leave the module. The system will remember where you are. Good luck with your practice.